What's up everybody, I'm new to YouTube, but I'm not new to The Division. I've been playing since day 1 and yes, survived patch 1.3. Now after seeing the new PTS for 1.6, I realized Massive simply don't know what they're doing and throwing shit around hoping something sticks. This video might be a little long, but I believe it's what's needed to save this game from sinking. It needs a massive revamp. Consider what I'm about to say as like The Division 2.0. Because it won't happen in 1.7, 1.8, 1.9. The changes I want to talk about are not just simple changes. They're not little tweaks which leads to broken PTSs and useless pendulum swings. I want to talk about a major revamp, so here we go. As you can tell, I'm a little bit sick, so I apologize for my voice. But anyways, first off, they're trying to balance PvE with PvP, while also balancing the 3 main stats and overall balancing altogether. Here's what I propose for balancing of builds and overall gameplay. First off, everybody should have 0% armor mitigation. This is increased only by the value of your armor on your gear. No one should start with base armor. Actually, no one should start with any free stat. Before I continue, I also think that all gun talents do not have any more requirements to be unlocked. I'll get into that later. For the 3 main stats, which are firearm, stamina, and electronics, each talent in the entire game will be assigned to one of those. The talents you unlock at the base of operation, the talents on guns, and your skills. These should all be assigned to one of the 3 attributes. Once done, you can start balancing the game as such. The more you spec into one of the 3 attributes, the higher the number increases on all talents related to that attribute. For example, if you have 2000 in firearms, the deadly talent on a gun will only give you 6% critical damage. If you have 3000 firearm, deadly now gives you 9% critical damage, and so on. If you spec all into firearms and have 8000, you will get something like 24% critical hit damage from deadly. Now you're probably saying that that's insane, but it's not, because your stamina and your electronics would be so low that your skills related to those lower stats will be very basic, and your stamina would also be low, which would basically make you a glass cannon, which is okay in an RPG. On the other hand, if you want to be a tank, you can spec 8000 into stamina, for example, and all your healing talents like Predator or Healing Station would be stronger, but you won't be doing as much damage with your guns or the skills since your firearms is low. Deadly, Brutal, Destructive would be unlocked, yes, but they will be weak. If you decide to spec everything into electronics, your skills will be very powerful, but again you will do little gun damage and be a little squishy. Talents like Competent and Cool-Headed increase in percent bonus the more electronics you stack on your character. Same example as Deadly I used in firearms. Basically, players would have to be creative and spec into what they need for their build. If you get a gun with 3 talents you really like, 2 of which are stamina related and the other is firearms, you will need to spec into those 2 attributes to have their bonus increased, but making your electronics very low and basic. This method is not new, it's not something I came up with. It's just simple RPG mechanics that work for years, which Massive just failed to implement properly. Using this method, players will now be able to build whatever they want to be. They can go full DPS, full tank, full electronics, or even jack of all trades but master of none. All Massive needs to do is very simple. Unlock all weapon talents at their basic lowest stat and percentage numbers for all players. Then link all talents and skills to one of those 3 attributes, firearm, stamina, and electronics. And finally, make those attributes affect the numbers on the talent or skill. Now let's just say this is implemented in Division 2.0, maybe 2 years from now. Here's what's going to happen. First of all, PvP and PvE is balanced, as whatever happens is basically your fault and not the game's fault. For example, if you die from Seeker Mines in 1 hit in PvP, the opponent must have completely spec'd in firearms, which means he's taking a huge risk, as he has very little HP because of his stamina is weak, and all talent numbers on their electronics are also low. Not to mention any gun talent that is electronic or stamina related won't be working very well. You can complain about it and whine about it all you want, but he is weak in everything else. The mines are all he has. He put all his eggs into that basket. On the other hand, if you would have spec'd into stamina, you would have survived that blast because you would be more tanky and your healing skills would be stronger. This is how you balance the game. You fuck up the release mechanics, you need to make a good patch. A revamp of things, not change percentages on numbers and try to make everything equal, going back and forth on PTS and so on. This won't work. It never will. You have a looter RPG on your hands, and the way you have it set up will never work. Every time new content comes out, you will need to do a PTS to test it. Instead, my way would make it easier to implement new sets and new weapons, as they can be linked to attributes. Let me show you another example of what I'm talking about, the turret. The regular bullet turret is in the firearms attributes tree, which means it would do more damage according to your firearm stats. Every skill in the firearms tree would be stronger for players specking into firearms. Every talent in the yellow wing would also be stronger than the other talents if you spec into firearms. Numbers would simply increase the more you spec into a certain attribute, and that is what I believe the division should have been from the start. Maybe I'm totally wrong, or maybe I might just be onto something, and the devs see this video and realize where their mistake really lies. I would love to hear what you think, except on my voice because I'm sick. Maybe even prove me wrong. I know I'm not Skill Up, I'm not Marco Styles, I'm not Arix, but I strongly believe I'm onto something here, and that is why I took the time to make this video. If you like my first video, show me by subscribing, dropping a like, or leaving a comment. Thanks for watching, and I hope to hear from you guys soon.